Good morning, everyone, and Merry Christmas. I know it's very rare that I actually come on live, but I wanted to come on live to just to talk to you on one-on-one, just one-on-one about, what's been going on in my life. I want to hear from you. Good morning, everyone, and Merry Christmas. I know it's very and I want to hear from you as well. Sorry, I had to unmute my wait a second. Wait a second. I'm so confused about what I'm can you guys hear me? Let me know if you can't hear me. Happy Christmas. Let me know. I just turned off my mute button on YouTube. Let me know if you can't hear me. I'm so confused about what I'm. Can you guys hear me? Let me know if you can't hear me. Happy Christmas. Let me know. I just turned off my mute. Okay, so let me know if you can. Let me know if you can hear me or not. Can you hear me now? Can somebody tell me if they can hear me? So sorry, because I've never really been. I've never used Zoom on YouTube before. This is the first time I've used other software. Okay, great. So, I wanted to really wish you guys a Merry Christmas. And if you have any questions during this whole session, anytime in the session, ask me a question. I actually was supposed to be in New York this whole time, the month of December, basically, because it's my mother's 90th birthday this year. Can you believe it? Her birthday is in December 10th. And I'm still here in Southern California rather than being in New York is because, because of COVID, essentially. My whole family, not my whole family, but my mother, my brother, my sister had gotten COVID. And I can't believe at 90 years old, my mother survived it. I mean, she wasn't even hospitalized. My brother was incredibly sick for about 2 weeks. He went to the hospital. They discharged him. My sister was and she has underlying health issues. She got sick, but she was never hospitalized. My mom got sick the first 2 days. Oh, your birthday's also December 10th. Yay! That's so great. It's funny because my acupuncturist, her birthday is also December 10th, but I'm sure you're not 90, Tori. My mother is 90 this year and she's doing great. And so for the first 2 days, my mother didn't feel well, but the third day she felt really well. So my other sister gave them Chinese herbs and they were taking Chinese herbs like almost every hour. And my sister feels that the Chinese herbs have really, really helped them. And it was a special formalized herb that the acupuncturist gave them. Oh, 57. Congratulations. Well, happy belated birthday. So they all stayed, they all got sick in the East Coast. I'm on the West Coast, and there was no reason for me to even go to my mom and see my mom because I couldn't even be around them. And they really wanted to have a huge birthday party for her this year with all of my cousins and my uncle and everyone, everyone there. But where are you going to have a huge 90th birthday? What venue is even going to take you? So I just ended up staying in Southern California, and now it looks like here this COVID thing is spreading more rampantly, and all of the restaurants are closed, so we can only do takeout. And it's been a crazy, crazy year to say the least. Like I said before, if you have a question, let me know. But so I just really wanted to wish you guys a happy and Merry Christmas. And I really wanted to talk about, this year, like kind of what I was thinking about, what what were the greatest lessons that my soul learned this year for, for the growth and expansion? That was something that I'm always thinking about, lessons for my soul's expansion and growth. Any situation that happens, whether it's a situation that I desire or not, I really feel that that the situation is for the highest good, for your lesson, for the expansion of your soul. Hi, Anna. What are the Chinese herbs about? Okay, well, the Chinese herbs were to help them with their immune system, to help them, with their immune system. But I asked my sister what the herbs were actually, and she told me that they were actually custom formulated by the acupuncturist. She custom formulated it at that time. So she doesn't even know what the herb is. Like, you can't just buy it at, an herbal store or anything like that. So I would share it with you, but unfortunately it was custom mixed herbs. So anyway, going back to the 2020 of this year, needless to say, this was the craziest year of our lives, right? I mean, just globally. And I think it was an year of a lot of mental and emotional challenge. And I use that word challenge, and I shouldn't really use that word challenge, because this year, my business partner, Jen, a good friend of mine, Jen, when I said challenge, she said, Moon, she's incredibly mindful of the words that she uses. Why? Because every word that you think and speak, the universe is listening. And so when the universe listens, the more you speak and think those words, the more that manifestation happens. Your thoughts become your reality. So my friend Jen is incredibly mindful of what words she uses. And so when I said challenge, she says, Moon, I choose to switch the word from challenge to opportunity. Opportunity. Why? Because every challenge that we meet, whether it's a big one, small one that we meet, is really an opportunity for our soul's growth and expansion. That's it. That's what it really is about. And so that is one of the things that I've been training myself this year, is to see everything as an opportunity for growth and expansion. What is the opportunity this year of the entire, world shutting down? The opportunity was that it was an incredible emotional, mental space that God has given us to be able to go inward, to be able to reflect, be mindful, meditate, and just be more present in the now, slow things down. It's not a rush. It's not about rushing. It's about being mindful, because when you're mindful, you get things done a lot more efficiently in a shorter amount of time. It's not about saying, oh my God, I'm late for my yoga class. Well, if you're late for your yoga class, if you're going to yoga to be more present and have more peace and serenity in your life, and you're rushing to yoga class, that defeats the whole point of going to yoga class, right? I mean, if you're rushing, you're not being mindful of that peace and serenity. That is the goal of why you're going to yoga class. So that was a huge opportunity for us this year, was to go inward. It's the yin energy. Yin energy is to go inward, is to really reflect and be mindful and ask our soul lots of questions. Soul, what is it that you want me to be doing? What is it that I should know today? What direction should I engineer my life? What would you have me do for the highest good of myself and humanity? These are all of the opportunities that we could embrace for 2020. It was the best year for going inward. And I always say, and I feel like I'm a broken record at this point, to tell you the truth. I mean, can I be more of a broken record than this? Is that I always say your outer world experiences really, really reflect your uh, inner world energies. So if you keep going more inward and you see and you start to feel and you start to have a different perspective about the world and different perspective about yourself, and realize that everything is an opportunity to learn lessons for the growth and expansion of our soul, then you are truly, truly on the path of your higher purpose. You're truly on the path of your soul's expansion and growth. And I always say that's all that that's the only reason why that is the only reason why we are here on this physical form, in order to have all of these life lessons in the spirit, in the physical time space reality, for the expansion and growth of our soul. They're all lessons. Everything that we experience here are lessons. Every person that we encounter, that we meet, whether they're good or bad for us, are the greatest teachers for the lessons of our soul. And so everything is an opportunity. 2020 was too bad for all. In fact, moment to remember in mind forever. Yes, I agree with you. Merry Christmas, Patricia. Merry Christmas. Yeah, I mean, we would never forget this year. How can anybody forget this year? But for sure, this year, I think so many people went inward and became mindful about what they want to do with their life. How do they want to position their life to make it more purposeful, right? Are they doing things in their life currently that is in alignment with their soul's path? What new decisions or what changes do we need to make in our lives that place us on our soul's path? Because that's what it's really about. It's really about just that. And so 2020 was an incredible year for us to go inward, speak to our soul, speak to God, speak to the universe, speak to the divine, speak to the spirit guides, to help us, guide us in the direction of our soul's path. And when we are in that direction of our soul's path, every opportunity, every incredible door opens for us. The universe just shows us the path, and it just falls on our lap. We don't even have to take a lot of action. When you are truly on your soul's path, the universe opens doors for you left and right, and it just falls on your lap. I mean, I have had so many things just fall on my lap this year because I really had set a certain intention that everything that I was going to do in this higher consciousness space, any company, any work that I was going to do, was going to only be for the highest good of myself, humanity, and to be on my soul's path. So every day I ask God and the universe, what would you have me do? What would you like me to do? What is the path to the highest good of everyone? Because it can't just be the highest good for Moon. It can't just be the highest good for my family. It has to be the highest good for everyone. It has to be a win-win for everyone. It can't just be a win for a few. It has to be a win for everyone. So this year was such an amazing year for me to really figure out the direction of my work in this higher consciousness space, in this spiritual space. I'm so passionate about spirituality and higher consciousness living because it has completely transformed my life in ways that I cannot even describe and imagine. And every single time I become a little bit closer to my higher self, I become a little bit closer to divine, I become a little bit closer to God, I become a little bit closer to spirit. Things just flow into my experience in ways that are so natural, that are so organic, that makes so much sense without a lot of effort. And that's the way it's supposed to be. We're supposed to live in that flow. And things are not supposed to be that hard. The reason why things are so hard, and in 2020 we made things so much like 1,000 times harder for ourselves than it needed to be this year, is because when this happened, when this global pandemic happened, so many of us went into mental and emotional trauma. And I understand exactly why. I understand why we went into mental and emotional trauma. I'm not trying to downplay that. I recognize that and I get it. But what it is that when we are in that state of mental emotional trauma for a certain duration of time, then it no longer serves us. At that point, when you are perpetuating this mental emotional trauma, stress, chaos, it is going to create experiential problems in your life. You're going to see that you have blocked yourself from the universal forces that could help you to solve these problems. And that's what it is. When we carry that emotional trauma for too long, we are now blocking our energy from allowing the universe to reveal to us, to show us solutions, answers to challenges, or I would call it opportunities in our lives. So this year has been the year for so much opportunities that we haven't had before. So much opportunities that we haven't had before. That is the way I choose to look at this year. I proactively choose to look at 2020 as the greatest opportunity for my expansion of and growth. That's what I choose to see. And as I keep choosing that word opportunity over challenge, over obstacle, as I keep deliberately choosing that word and being absolutely mindful of that word and consciously choose the word opportunity over a challenge or obstacle, I become more in flow with the universal forces. And when I become more in flow with the universal forces, things just work in my life. Things just, cooperative components just drop on my lap. I have seen this happen over and over and over and over again. So it is my job to keep training myself to see opportunities versus obstacles and challenges. Even with the whole social unrest that happened in the US, with the George Floyd case, we had so much social upheaval in this country. And I'm sure that was reported around the world, right? That was an opportunity for my soul's expansion and growth. Opportunity for me to see the perspective of everyone involved, not just George Floyd, but to see the perspective of what the police officers are going and what the African American people are going. Put myself in their shoes, every single person's shoes, and see and feel what they are going through. Because there's always two sides to the story. When one person is suffering, the other person is suffering. So both sides are actually suffering, not one side, but both sides. So I felt that it was such a great opportunity for me to look at both sides, look at the African American side of how they feel, look at the police officer side of how they feel. And as I'm, reflecting on both sides and literally putting myself in both sides' position, I'm learning things. I'm learning things about things are not necessarily black and white. There's a lot of color in between. And unless you've walked in their shoes for even one day, it's very, very difficult to know what they are going through mentally and emotionally, the trauma that they are experiencing mentally and emotionally. And so even the social unrest was such a great opportunity for me to allow myself to be in other people's shoes. So if I have any type of family issues or issues with friends or issues with people in my close network, that social upheaval was my greatest lesson to say, no, Moon, stop for a minute. Don't judge. Don't jump to judging. Stop for a minute and put yourself in their shoes, in that person's shoes and in that person's shoes. So if you're having conflict with a family member, place yourself in, before you are quick to judge, place yourself in their shoes for even a few minutes. Try to look at the situation from their angle, from their perspective, from their shoes. And that is a great opportunity right there. So when we have conflict with family and friends, it's an amazing opportunity for our growth and expansion. So like I said, if you have any questions, you can answer them. And so this is why I see that 2020 was the greatest year for opportunities, that everything that we experienced was an opportunity for our expansion and growth. And so if you want to share some of the opportunities that you experienced in 2020, I would love for you to share it. Let me know what the greatest opportunity you discovered this year in 2020. And so 2020 was also an amazing year for me to be more, to deepen more my spiritual practice, where I could do more meditations, where I could do more journaling, where I could be more reflective. New job. Wow. Wow, that's amazing. Azu Car Blue talks about a new job. That's wonderful. If 2020 gave you a new job, I'm so happy. Merry Christmas to you, Azu Car Blue. And so it was such an amazing year to really, really deepen my spiritual practice at a higher level. That was one of the great opportunities that I had in 2020. Because, my spiritual practice is really my number one priority, because without spirit working through me and flowing through me, I can't really even operate in this world. I can't make any good decisions. I can't have clarity. I can't have peace. I can't have serenity. I can't have anything that allows me to function in my highest level without spirituality, without really connecting to my higher self, to source energy, to the divine. And so 2020 was an amazing opportunity for me to connect with my higher self, my deeper self in a profound way. So I am so grateful for that opportunity in 2020. So if anybody else wants to share with us what your greatest opportunity was in 2020, please do so. And the other thing that I really found and discovered as a great opportunity in 2020 is the resilience. Not just the resilience of myself. I felt like I stepped it up in my resiliency, but the resilience of the world and the people in my community. I had a lot of one-on-one sessions, a lot of private Facebook chats with members of my face group, and some of the stories are horrific that I've heard. But the one common thread that I've been finding for a lot of us is resilience. That no matter how bad their life is now because of maybe horrific childhood trauma, where they were abused mentally, emotionally, and physically by family members, or whether a parent was an alcoholic, they grew up in an alcoholic family or a drug abusing family, whatever the issues were, what I discovered a common thread is that there was so much resilience that people didn't want to give up on themselves, even though they were in the worst mental and emotional space. And I just found that 2020 made us more resilient, no matter how horrible the year was. Angie, coming to understand myself spiritually. Yes. Thank you, Angie. That is exactly what I was feeling myself. Spiritually, yes. Coming to understand your truth, the true nature of who you really are. I mean, we think that our true nature is this physical form, which is not untrue, but that's just a small part of our true nature. The broader part of us, the larger part of us, the true nature of the larger part of us is that we are this non-physical energy consciousness. I say this over and over and over and over again. Why? Why do I keep saying we are this non-physical energy consciousness? We are a non-physical entity, this wave entity that has an intelligent awareness, that we are aware of what is happening within us and around us in an intelligent manner. That is what our spirituality is, and nurturing that spirituality is returning home to that truth and connecting to that truth of us more and more and more. And as we keep nurturing our spirituality and understanding our true nature, our true spiritual nature in a more profound way, then everything in our life starts to move in an incredible flow. The flow is just magnificent. Why? Because we are in tune with the universal laws. If you think that humans have laws, which we do, the universe has bigger laws. The universe has laws that we either play by those laws or we don't. And if we don't play by the universal laws of spirituality, that is when our lives do not work. Because the universe is designed a certain way. And if it's like a car, if a car is designed a certain way and you try to drive that car any way other than the way the car was meant to drive, the car won't drive, right? So you can't get anywhere. Whereas the same thing with our lives. If the universe is designed a certain way and you're not playing by the rules of the universe, you're not playing its game, then how can your life work? It's like a computer. If you're trying to use a computer the way, it was not designed to use, the computer won't work. and you can't use the computer. We have to understand that there are spiritual and universal laws at play here that we cannot change. All we could do, the power in within us, is to align ourselves with those laws, align ourselves with those truths. And the more we can align ourselves, the more the universe will work for us and our life will work. That is the simple explanation of where our true power is. So what happens? What happens when we want to be in this universal alignment, universal flaw? We have to surrender and release to that infinite wisdom, infinite power, infinite ways to know everything. We have to surrender because we don't necessarily have the bigger picture. The divine has the bigger picture. We just have to surrender to it and have absolute trust and faith, knowing that it knows exactly how to take us on our soul's path, and it will guide us. And we don't have to figure it out. It's not our job to figure out how it's going to be done, when it's going to be done. The universe already knows that. The divine already knows that in its infinite wisdom. It knows that. We just have to allow and surrender and release to that. And that's another big theme that I am working on. One of my biggest spiritual growth and expansion lesson is to allow. Oh my God, that is the biggest. If you ask, my husband, like, what is the big lesson that Moon could learn in this life? What is one of her biggest spiritual lessons? Is allow things to be as they are, allow people to be as they are. I've struggled with that my whole life. When I see something and I say to myself, oh my God, and I know that I'm right. I know it in my deepest soul and heart. And I know that if I say something to somebody, like give them a certain advice, that it could really help them. But I can't just express it. I have to learn to not express it, because when somebody is not ready to receive it, you can't express it. So this year I did a session with my friend Jen on human design. It is the most amazing thing that you can ever do, is this human design. And we did it with an incredible human design coach, Julian. And he said to me, Moon, the way you are designed is that you cannot give your opinion, even though you may be right, and often you will be right. You cannot give your opinion unless you are invited to do so. Unless you are invited to do so. Why? Because unless I'm invited, the person that I am giving advice to may not be ready for the message. And if you are not ready for the message, and I give you this advice, this wisdom advice that could really help you, it's not going to help you, because you're just going to become defensive. He says, once you are invited, Moon, you could pretty much say anything and get away with it. I said, Jules, you are so right. I have gotten myself into so much trouble in the past because I have given unsolicited advice. I try to do it with my family members. I try to do it with everybody, and it has gotten me into so much trouble. So one of the things, one of the greatest lessons from my soul is to allow people to be who they are, allow things to be what they are, not what I think it should be, because their timing is not my timing. Somebody is ready when they're ready, not when I'm ready. Not when I'm ready. See, I might be ready now, but somebody else may not be ready. So my greatest lesson in this life is to let things be as they are. And that is a hard one for me, because I feel like I have to fix it. I have to fix it. But I really don't have to fix anything. The universe will do it. The universe in its infinite wisdom, infinite power, infinite flow knows how to do that. I don't need to fix anything. And that is one of the biggest lessons that I have to learn. And 2020 was a big challenge for me in learning that lesson, is to allow. I'm not telling you that I am totally there, that I am totally allowing everything to happen. I am still kind of resistant to it, but I have an awareness that that is one of the greatest lessons that my soul needs to learn. And I'm getting a little better at it every year, a little better at it, a little better at it, a little better at it. If anybody has a question, please ask. So 2020 has been an incredible year for me with so many opportunities. Like I said, let's switch the word from obstacles and challenges to opportunities. Let's start switching our language, because what we say, what we think is absolutely heard by the universe. And when you see something as an obstacle, your experience will be an obstacle. If you see something as an opportunity, your experience will be expansion and growth. So let's be very mindful of what words we choose and what language we choose for ourselves. It is very, very important, because the universe listens to every word that we say and speak. This is so important. That's why I always say it is so much more important how you speak to yourself than how you speak to others. Why? Because the way you speak to yourself, if you speak to yourself with unconditional love, I am worthy, I am beautiful, I am enough, then you will see everybody as worthy, as beautiful, as enough, right? You will see everybody else out there as worthy, as beautiful, as enough. But if you don't see yourself as worthy, if you don't see yourself as good enough, if you don't see yourself with unconditional love, you can't see anybody else that way. You can't give love. You can't see the perfection of that person because you don't see the perfection of yourself. You can't see the worthiness of other people if you can't see the worthiness of yourself. You can't see the love of other people if you can't see the love within yourself. So the way we talk to ourselves is far, far more important than actually the way we talk to others. Because as we talk empowering to ourselves, we will talk empowering to other people. And that's one of the things that I'm really learning in 2020, is to be really, really careful with my words. And so now I think I've said a lot about 2020, that it's an opportunity. 2020 is an opportunity. That is how I will choose to see 2020, is a year of opportunity. Now, to forecast 2021, I feel like in 2020, we were in the yin phase, the phase of going inward, of mindfulness, reflection, growing and nurturing our spirituality, learning more about the true nature of who we really are. And it was a wonderful year to really start to understand that more deeply about ourselves and what direction we're going to take in our lives, whether it's our career, our relationships, to be aligned with that true nature, that true spiritual nature, who we are. What direction, what career, what work are we going to take was the great opportunity in 2020 to figure that out. So in 2021, for me, it's going to be the yang. So the 2020 was the yin, 2021 is the yang. Why do I say 2021 is the yang? Because now, given all of the mindfulness, reflection, the inner work, going deeper inside and really discovering our true nature, our true spiritual nature in 2020, and figuring out how we're going to manifest that in our lives and align ourselves to our true nature. And once now we figured out the direction of how we're going to align our lives to our true nature, 2021 is the year for action. Now we're going to implement everything that we learned in 2020, everything that we understood about ourselves in 2020. We're going to now take action. So next year for me is going to be crazy year. I know it is. I know it is. Because I have started a new venture and I have created a team that is incredible. And we are going to be building our first prototype by the end of February. And we are moving full speed. It is going to be exciting. And this new product that I'm going to have out, I'm not going to really mention it now, what exactly it is, because it's such early stage, is so exciting. And I know the universe wants me to do this in a major way. And I have the right team to do it. And that team, believe it or not, just fell on my lap. I didn't go out looking for the team. They fell on my lap. And that's how it works. So 2020 is the year where we take action. It's the yang. It's now action from the yin. So the yang is coming out of the yin. And so I'm very, very excited about 2021. Do you guys have anything to share about what you feel 2021 is going to be for you? Then please do so. Because I'd love to hear of what plans you might have. So I think that I spoke too much already. I've been like a talking head for the last 45 minutes here. And of course, if you ever have any questions, you can ask. And I'm going to do these live sessions more often so that you have an opportunity to ask me questions. So my Facebook group is where I do actually the meditations, but I think for this in YouTube, I'm just going to, be like this talking head where you can ask me questions and you can share whatever you want. So I'm going to do this more often. I'm not going to necessarily do it every week, but I'm going to do it more often than I've been doing. The last time you saw me live was months and months ago, because I created a Facebook community, and that's where I really do my live meditations and where I do the chat groups, where people could share their issues and problems. So I really miss coming live on YouTube. So I'm going to be doing this more often, which is an opportunity for me to really connect with your energies on a more deeper level and where you can answer questions. So I'm going to close it out now and say, I wish you all a very, very Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year. And I'm going to be releasing the next couple of weeks. I'm going to be releasing an incredible videos about how to be in flow with money, how to be in flow with abundance of money. And I had an incredible coach, this woman named Lynn Twist. She's amazing. She wrote a book called Soul of Money, and it's so amazing what she says in this book. And I so resonate with that message. And when you really practice this flow of your truth, you will be in flow with money. So those are the next couple of weeks I'll be releasing those videos. So again, I just want to wish you a very Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Spend time with your family, hug them at a distance, give them a kiss at a distance. And I just want to let you know that I love you. And thank you for being so resilient. Don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on yourself. Don't ever give up on yourself. And I send you all my love, all my blessings. Namaste. And I'll see you next year. Bye. I love you.